So I'll start by saying this video contains spoilers about the new Minato one-shot manga. If somehow you clicked on this video by accident, turn it off now. But anyway, the new Minato manga just dropped and I just wanted to review over all the new information we learned about, but also what we did not learn about that I think we could have. It was just a one-shot, so there was only so much that could be shown, but now I'm just fiending for more canon material to learn about after this. But anyway, this video idea is pretty straightforward for a change, so I'll go straight into reviewing this one shot. Starting with the first page, we learn that Team Jiraiya was still working together in the Third Great Shinobi War. This is the first time we're seeing Jiraiya participate in the Third Great Shinobi War, and the first time we see Minato's teammates all grown up. We also learn that the other boy on Jiraiya's team is not in fact Ramen Guy despite the theories. So kind of disappointing, but we do learn this guy's name is Dakai. We don't get to see the name of the girl, but I think this chapter debunks the theory that Sasuke's mother Makoto was Minato's teammate as well. Seeing her face here as an adult seems to be noticeably different than Makoto's, and we don't see an Uchiha symbol, nor does she use a Sharingan at any point. What we don't learn is what is the fate of these two teammates. Could they have possibly died in this war and this led to the formation of Team Minato? I was really hoping to see more of Team Jiraiya in action, but this is all we got. We also learned that both Han and Roshi were perfect Jinchurikis. When they were reanimated in the war arc, they were perfect Jinchurikis, but that could have been because they were under Obito's control. Now we've learned that not only were they in full control, but they could use chakra avatars instead of turning fully into their tailed beast. We see them standing inside their tailed beast as the tailed beast appeared to still be fully forming as they were firing tailed beast bombs. Even the edges of their forming bodies are fire-like, kind of similar to how Naruto's Kurama avatar would look like pure chakra on the edges at some points. This must mean they had a seal similar to the one Minato put on Naruto. We know B's seal did not have these properties, so it made Naruto's seal seem more special in the original series. But now we've learned that these two hosts in the Stone Village probably had the same Uzumaki seal that Minato learned, which could mean that some Uzumaki fled to the Stone Village and taught them how to use their 8 trigram seal. We don't know this for certain, but it seems to be the only logical explanation for why these tailed beasts formed this way. What we still don't know is what was Han's fate. We never see the Five Tails captured by the Akatsuki, so we don't know who the host was then, if there was a host at all. He likely either died in the Third Great Shinobi War or was captured by the Akatsuki. In the next scene we see Kushina enter, and we learn more about her daily life as a host. We learn that the Uzumaki had a building with a seal in it that helped Kushina's own seal. So this is a whole new type of seal that we're seeing for the first time. Kushina was not allowed to leave the small zone around this special building, or she would have trouble restraining the Nine Tails. So we're also learning that she had a lot more trouble than Naruto with restraining Kurama. More than likely, this building was no longer needed after the conclusion of this chapter, as we see Kushina is allowed to go to a hospital, which is probably nowhere near where her designated zone was. We also saw her chains were strong enough to restrain 2 Anbu members, but this was already expected as we saw Karin use her chains to fight Guru's Buddha statue in the war. In the next scene, we see Jiraiya was actually helping supervise Minato while he was developing the Rasengan. I always imagined that Minato just did this on his own, but Jiraiya's advice helped push him over the hump. Similar to how when Jiraiya told Naruto to move his chakra in the way that his chakra flows, based off of his hair parting, we learned Jiraiya pointed out to Minato that he has 2 whirls going in opposite directions in his hair, which apparently is a mark of a genius, so this furthers the narrative that Minato is a prodigy. It makes me wonder who else had 2 whirls as well. We also see Jiraiya offered Minato a double popsicle just like he did with Naruto the last time they spoke. This makes that scene with Naruto that much more special, because it shows that it was not just an act of kindness, but an acknowledgement that he began viewing Naruto in the same light as Minato. Clearly a double popsicle meant a lot to Jiraiya, as the sight of one helped Minato figure out how to rotate his chakra properly to learn Rasengan. Surprisingly, we also learned that Minato was crafting the Rasengan to teach Kushina specifically. He himself says he wanted to give her a jutsu that could be used against other tailed beasts. He also says towards the end of the story that he drew inspiration from seeing a tailed beast bomb, so that's just another neat little lore moment. But as I was saying, this candid moment between the two leads to Kushina losing control, which is just like how when Naruto would get emotional we would see some Nine-Tails chakra leak out at times. But once this starts happening, Minato is able to slow down the Nine-Tails by using a seal. Kurama notes that he's impressed by Minato being able to do this, despite not being an Uzumaki, and directly compares him to Hashirama. I wouldn't say this puts Minato on that God of Shinobi level now, as I think Kurama was just impressed since this was the first person since Hashirama who could seal him. Maybe this means that Minato can seal just as well as Hashirama now, but I'm not going to be saying this makes Minato a god of shinobi. After Minato puts a seal on Kushina, Kushina has a flashback to the time she spent with Mito Uzumaki. Mito mentions the Uzumaki clan losing everything, but that's as far as it goes for what happened to the Uzumaki. So we sadly didn't learn anything new about what happened to the Land of Whirlpools in the Second Shinobi War, so this means that the Land of Whirlpools turning into the Land of Waves theory is still neither confirmed nor debunked. We did learn that the Uzumaki crafted their seals from attuning themselves with the flow of air currents, so that's just another small piece of lore there. We also only see Mito reside inside the special seal house, so it may have been possible that she as well was stuck inside the sealing barrier like Kushina was. Or maybe she weakened with old age and then was forced to move into the zone, but was able to move around freely when she was young, like Kushina could after the events of this one-shot. We, however, did not learn the fate of Hashirama from Mito. She seemed to reminisce about Hashirama while talking to Kushina, but no mention of him directly whatsoever. After the flashback, we come back to Minato and Kushina fighting to restrain Kurama. We see Kushina enter her version 2 state, which is the first time we've seen a full Nine Tails version 2 state. All the other Jinchuriki have maxed out their tails in that state, but Naruto only got to 6 in that state before transforming into a hairless Ninetales against Pain. The end result of this fight starts with Minato appearing inside Kushina's mind where the Ninetales resides. We've seen Orochimaru, Sasuke, and Bee do this with Naruto, so Minato now joins that exclusive club. They all did it in different ways, so it seems like you can do this through touch or looking at the host's eyes like Sasuke and Orochimaru did. In case you're confused, Minato did not actually enter this space, but instead used a chakra avatar. When we first see him enter it, we see parts of his body are just pure chakra to confirm this. The fight ends with what looks like Minato cancelling out a tailed beast bomb with his Rasengan. This makes his Rasengan a lot stronger than I had previously thought. Even Naruto in the war, when fighting Kurama, had his massive Rasengan destroyed with Kurama just using one of his tails. This also makes Obito seem stronger now, considering that he survived something that seemed to be comparable to a full Ninetales tailed beast bomb. I think this makes Minato's Rasengan stronger than I originally thought, but I don't think this puts him in a god of shinobi level like I imagine some people will now. It seems like his chakra avatar didn't survive this, and if he really was the god of shinobi, I don't think he struggles as hard against Obito, but I won't go any further into that. It appears that after this fight, Tsunade is the one to heal Minato, so this confirms that she was still in the village in the Third Great Shinobi War. I don't think anything had ever directly been said on what the Sonin statuses were during this war, but now we know for sure that 2 of them were participating in it. The last thing we learn is that Kushina was the one to name the Rasengan, and she did so after the special Uzumaki Seal building. The spiral staircase in the building was called a Rasen, so somehow she added Gon to the end of it, and that concludes the one-shot. Now as for my review of it, I don't really have one. I was so starved for new Naruto content that I could have just been satisfied with anything. I encourage everyone who read it to go out on social media and rave about it so we can get more new canon material from Kishimoto. I enjoyed this though and thought this was the right idea for a one-shot. We learned about Minato and Kushina's relationship in between the academy and their deaths. We also learned the story of the Rasengan along with many other small bits of information. I mentioned a few things we didn't learn about while I was recapping the story, so I'll go ahead and finish that now. We didn't see how Minato learned the Flying Raijin Jutsu. We now know he learned it before the Rasengan, but not how and why. We know how and why he learned the Rasengan, but there was not one mention of learning how to teleport. We also don't know if Kushina ended up learning Rasengan, even though we now know she was supposed to learn it from Minato. We also don't know how or when Minato learned Sage Mode either. We also didn't learn much about the Third Great Shinobi War either, when this was a good opportunity for it. We only learned that the Stone Village had 2 perfect Jinchurikis, and Team Jiraiya was still together at some point in the war. We still don't know exactly who the alliances were, we just know that the Leaf was fighting both the Stone and the Cloud Village. That's about all when it comes to things we could have learned but didn't. Of course we could have potentially learned anything about the past, but I kept it realistic with mostly things that were present in this one-shot, but not expanded upon. For example, we met Minato's other teammates, but we learned nothing more than that about them. Let me know what else y'all thought we could have realistically learned about in the comments. Personally, I always want to know about more lore, but Kishimoto seemed to want everything to relate back to this moment Kushina and Minato have during the story. I think that's a good thing because it makes their fight against the Ninetales that much better. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more videos in the future. Comment something if you have something to say, and thank y'all for watching. I guess I'll see y'all next time.